We've received a lot of support. We have our own sort of key worker, our own allocated social worker. We've had the same one since we started. She came and did our home visit, so that's quite nice. There's a lot of continuity there, and we've gotten to know her quite well over the years. There's also a training, so if you have a placement and there's a specific sort of behaviour that you're not certain about, there are courses and there are sort of options to train so that you can, you'd have more of an idea of what to do. So that's always been helpful, and you get to go on first aid courses and things like that, so that it's, when you have children that are not your own in your home, you do become, I think, hyper vigilant. The scratch and all these kind of things. Your own, you give them a little kiss and say, "Oh, you're fine," but you are more cautious, I think, because I suppose you like that with everyone's children when they're not your own. But yeah, so it is quite nice to know that there are courses out there that you can go on.
Yeah,
so
yeah, and as Anya said, we have our own designated social worker who we have as a direct point of contact, but there's also a social worker, a caseworker, who looks after each individual case. So quite often you'll have your own social worker, the caseworker, and then the social worker of the birth family, and quite often that's 3 different social workers all involved in the same case, which could feasibly cause issues in terms of having lots of people involved in the same thing, but quite often that's quite good to have 3 separate voices all working together and sort of making sure that everyone's on the same page and everyone understands what's happening with any given placement. And what we found as well is that with placements that are intricate or complex or challenging for whatever reason, then the level of attention is increased. So you have more regular meetings, more regular core group meetings, which is when everyone involved gets together. But when you've got placements that are actually sort of relatively minor in terms of the amount of input required, then effectively the social workers are there if you need them, but by and large they'll leave you just to kind of get on with looking after the children on a day-to-day basis. So we've been very lucky in that the social worker we've had has been excellent at knowing when she's needed and when we need help and when we need input and when we're absolutely fine and we don't need any input. So the balance there has been really, really good. And also in terms of the training and networking available, there's a weekly email that comes out that tells you exactly what's going on in terms of social gatherings, in terms of coffee mornings, in terms of any training opportunities. And the coffee mornings, we don't go so often now because we've been doing this for quite a few years, but certainly at the start it was a really valuable forum just to kind of sit down and listen to people who are going through the same thing as you're going through.
And other carers who had sort of years worth of experience, and sometimes you'll just go in and sit and have a coffee and say to somebody, this is happening, or what do you think, and stuff like that. But it's and everyone's very welcoming. It's quite a nice social circle. People chat to you, may not see them for 2 years after that. Because you won't always go to the same coffee mornings. But people are very welcoming. They're very chatty, and they'll always sort of talk to you and things, so that's quite nice.
But that's one of the things we found, is that the people who we've encountered through fostering East Lothian are they all got into fostering to help other people, and they're all very nice, welcoming, approachable people. And so, we'll bump into someone in the supermarket who we haven't seen since we went on our introductory course 6 years ago, and we'll chat away to them and ask them how they're doing, and there's definite camaraderie there, and also an understanding of what you have been through and what you've had to deal with. That's sort of, people who haven't fostered will listen and you can talk to them, but knowing that there's people that have a full understanding of what you've done and what you've had to do and what you've been through, that's a good level of support.
Yeah, Aldi is a great point for meeting people randomly and spending 20 minutes chatting to them, and your kids are going, "Can we go now?" You're like, "Yeah, okay, we're going."